It is November 5th, 2024, and welcome to this edition of Game on Hockey for your Tuesday afternoon. My name is Graham Mosiman, and oh boy, last night was one of the least interesting nights that we've potentially ever seen in the NHL, unless it was a night that just straight up didn't have hockey, as the Kings beat the Predators 3-0, and we got the exact same score for the Oilers and the New Jersey Devils. A bit of a rough go for the Edmonton Oilers. They'll be back at it in just a couple days as they'll take on the Golden Knights on Wednesday. But tonight we have a really great lineup of shows for you across the Game Over Network and store. I will tell you all about those, plus get to your biggest stories in hockey in under 10 minutes in just a quick sec. But first, want to tell you all about Hyperdrive Hockey. It is the flagship podcast on the Game Over Network. You have Max, Daphne, and Kev. They dive into the world of hockey in a very cool, very engaging, and fun way. It's going to become one of your favorite hockey pods. Give it a listen. New episodes come out on the Game Over Network main YouTube channel on Tuesdays. So there was one out today and on Friday. So don't miss that. It's a great show. We love them deeply. So a couple things from last night that I want to keep you up to date on. Connor McDavid did engage in a optional skate with the rest of the team. He was a better skater than literally everybody on the ice. He's only been out for injury for a week. Now the timeline was 2 to 3 weeks, so the kind of earliest the Oilers are expecting him back could be maybe on Tuesday, November 12th against the New York Islanders, but it's looking much more likely that he will probably return for the Hockey Night in Canada game on November 16th against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So that's where the Oilers are at in terms of their injury. We'll see how they shake out for this next little non-McDavid time. There was a signing in the National Hockey League yesterday after a PTO stint with the Providence Bruins. The Bruins have signed Tyler Johnson, one-time Tampa Bay Lightning great, to a one-year deal worth $775. That is league minimum. After the loss to the LA Kings, Ryan O'Reilly was absolutely vicious in covering his own performance. Said it was one of the worst games of his career. I was pathetic. And the vibes in Nashville are really just bad right now. They've only won 4 games on the season. They're 4-7-1, and their next little chunk of games, they're going to be taking on the Washington Capitals, who somehow, some way, against all odds, are a single point out of a playoff spot and are 8-3 on the season. The Washington Capital chaos team, I suppose, is Alexander Ovechkin still scoring oodles for that team. But that's Nashville's next opponent. After that, they have to go up against the Florida Panthers, Utah, the Colorado Avalanche, and then they have a date with the Oilers. Nashville could be in a really, really, really rough space before this next week or so is totally wrapped up. I wouldn't be entirely shocked if you had some concerns about people in that office. I can't see head coaches being let go, but like assistant coaches definitely could be on the block if things don't start to get better in Nashville in the very near future. We have a really nice update, an exciting one here on Macklin Celebrini. He'll be back tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's been hurt for the last couple of weeks, but he will be back. So nice to see him get back on the ice. Will Johnson in his place in San Jose has put together a really nice little run. That guy is going to be absolutely unreal when he gets all going. So that's exciting. And I'm not even getting his name right. It is Will Smith, not Will Johnson. I'm sorry. I'm mixing up my average generic white guy names. He's doing his best here over on Game on Hockey. Just a couple more stories I do want to tell you about that are a little hurtful. If you are someone that subscribes to Sportsnet, there is going to be a 25% price increase coming on your bill effective January 6th, 2025. So many people have cut cables or just not doing cable anymore. That Sportsnet Plus was kind of the only way to legally watch hockey, but you keep upping your prices on streaming services. What are you going to do? You are going to keep driving people to go to pirated feeds, and it's going to be good for no one. So we would love to ask a giant corporation to adjust their decision, but let's face it, that is probably not going to happen. Now, because of a lighter night in the National Hockey League yesterday, we have a lighter run of show today. If you're an NHL 25 player, though, look at behind the benches next time you play, because NHL 25 now has official NHL coaches all in the game. I will tell you, some of them look pretty ragged. Chris Knobloch looks like a sim that someone left out in the sun. Peter Laviolette has his NHL 25 version has been dyeing his hair pitch black apparently, so that's cool. I mean, we crack on NHL as the game. It's too bad because the player base in Canada is so dedicated, and the player base in the northern U.S. is so dedicated, but it doesn't even come near the sales levels that a Madden does, that a college football does, that a FIFA does. But the FIFA's on a whole other level. So, asking a team who is under-supported and overworked to put out a really good hockey game every year is just really, really, really tough to do. So let's talk about tonight's schedule here for the National Hockey League, and for specifically our game over shows that'll be popping up all across the network. So we have 11 games on the docket tomorrow, including the Senators at the Buffalo Sabres at 5 p.m. Eastern. The Bruins and the Maple Leafs also at 5 p.m. Now that game is going to be fascinating because David Pastrnak got benched last game for the Boston Bruins, and you got to think coming into Toronto, he'll be firing on all cylinders, all 88 of them. So look for a big game from Pasta tomorrow. The Flames and the Canadiens are also playing at 5 o'clock Eastern, so that game is going to be a special crossover edition. Our pals from Game Over Calgary and Game Over Montreal will be getting together for a post-game show when that game is all wrapped up. We'll also have, of course, Game Over shows on the Ottawa Network and are in Toronto. So those will be 3 of the shows, but there is 2 more still to come as the Utah Hockey Club takes on the Winnipeg Jets. Will be interesting to see if the Jets have had some improvement in their attendance. They only drew 12,000 fans for a game on Sunday, which is not awesome to see. So Game Over Winnipeg will be going after that, and then the Canucks are taking on the Ducks in the late game. That one is going to be at 10 o'clock Eastern. So all the power in the world to our Game Over Vancouver pals who are going to be putting that show together, because that'll be a late night for them. That's it. That's the big stuff that's happening in hockey, my friend. Have yourself a great day. We will talk again tomorrow here on Game on Hockey on the Game Over Network.